Welcome to this explainer. Let me ask you something right off the bat. Are you feeling burned out, maybe a little lazy, or just pulled in a million different directions by modern life? Look, if you are, I promise you, you're not alone. It's a completely universal struggle. And today, we're going to unpack exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how to actually fix it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever actually stopped to ask yourself who is really in control of your daily actions? Think about it. When you mindlessly reach for your phone, or when you suddenly lose your temper, or when you just feel completely exhausted, what is driving those habits? Are you holding the steering wheel, or is something else?
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll look at the runaway chariot, the three forces of nature, the physics of consciousness, steering towards sattva, and finally, mastering your mind. Let's get started.
Section 1. The Runaway Chariot.
You know, the crazy thing is, ancient texts actually diagnosed our modern problem of feeling out of control literally thousands of years ago. The Katha Upanishad puts it perfectly. It says, "Know the Atman as the Lord of the chariot who sits within it, and the body as the chariot. Know the intellect as the charioteer, and the mind as verily the reins."
And this brilliantly illustrates the whole setup. Think of your physical body as the chariot itself, right? Your senses, what you see, smell, taste, hear, those are the horses pulling it. Your mind acts as the reins. And your intellect, your capacity to reason, well, that's the driver holding those reins. Sitting quietly in the very back is the Atman, the soul, just simply observing the whole journey.
So here is the core problem we all face. When our intellect fails to hold those mental reins tightly, the horses, meaning our senses and our desires, they drag us completely into chaos. An unrestrained mind makes those sense organs absolutely uncontrollable, like vicious, wild horses. And honestly, that is exactly what leads straight to burnout.
Which brings us to Section 2, the three forces of nature. Let's figure out what's spooking those horses.
Chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita points directly to what are called the gunas. These are the three modes or forces of nature, called prakriti, that essentially tie our imperishable soul to our physical body. And I want to really emphasize this to normalize your struggle. These are universal forces of nature acting upon you. This is not some personal failing on your part. Basically, there are three gunas constantly pulling at your chariot. You can think of them as the three gears Mother Nature uses to get her work done through us. First up is sattva. That represents goodness, purity, calmness, and wisdom. Second is rajas, which brings all the passion, restlessness, and that craving for continuous action. And finally, there's tamas, which is characterized by ignorance, laziness, confusion, and sleep.
Think of this dynamic like a mirror for your own life. A mind ruled by sattva is peaceful, it's illuminating, and it naturally makes good choices. But a mind ruled by rajas and tamas, that's when we get restless, greedy, lazy, or just totally confused. Now, to be fair, we do need all three. Rajas gives us the actual energy to act, and tamas gives us the rest we absolutely need to sleep. But too much of either? Yeah, that's when our chariot completely crashes.
The Gita perfectly summarizes this whole dynamic. It says, sattva draws one to joy, and rajas to action, while tamas, clouding wisdom, impels one to error, sleep, and sloth. Sattva acts as the ideal guide. It's the balance we really need to control those other two forces, so we can actually do good work and excel in a life that's, let's face it, full of struggles.
Moving right along to Section 3, the Physics of Consciousness. Let's look at the science here.
You might be wondering, is this just ancient poetry? Actually, no. Modern theories in physics are exploring the concept of a cosmic consciousness field, which is exactly what the Vedic texts refer to as Brahman. This is proposed as an all-pervading energy field that literally dresses physical matter with consciousness. It's an actual structural theory of how reality and human awareness function together.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how our human subtle body, meaning our mind, intellect, and ego, acts as a layered capsule interacting with this cosmic field. As Chapter 14 of the Gita guides us, rising above our base nature creates a literal hole or a clear window in this dense cosmic field. To put that into perspective using modern terms, think of the cosmic field like the overwhelming, constant noise of smartphone notifications and modern anxieties just buzzing all around you 24/7. Just as modern science uses noise-canceling frequencies to create a pocket of pure silence, meditation literally pierces through these gross layers to leave a pristine hole in that noise. It is in this exact pocket of silence that the Lord of the Chariot from the Upanishads can finally see clearly. This unfiltered flow of consciousness is the ultimate art of living. It gives us the absolute clarity we need to excel, find peace, and act decisively in a world full of doubts and struggles.
Because entering a meditative state literally alters our subtle energetic structure. As we cross these gross barriers, it purifies our cognitive functions and creates a very real, measurable meditation matrix. We are physically and energetically transforming the way we process reality.
So the scientific takeaway here is super powerful. Increasing sattva through meditation actually physically upgrades our brain and subtle body. It improves emotional regulation and builds far stronger neural connections. It's an incredibly practical guide for living peacefully and finding your footing when you're filled with doubts.
Section 4. Steering towards sattva. How do we actually do this?
I absolutely love this metaphor. Think of a balloon and a string. The balloon is your soul, your true self, just wanting to fly free and experience clarity. The string tying you down, that's the three gunas. Our goal here isn't to pop the balloon. Our goal is to consciously loosen those heavy, restricting strings of our restless habits, that's rajas, and our lazy habits, which is tamas.
So to loosen those strings and cultivate sattva in real everyday life, you don't need to go retreat to a cave somewhere. Just start right here. Number 1, eat homemade healthy food to avoid that tamasic sluggishness. Number 2, practice Surya Namaskar or some simple yoga to focus your physical energy. And number 3, read wisdom texts like the Bhagavad Gita daily to really engage your intellect. These are immediate, actionable ways to grab the reins of your chariot back.
And finally, Section 5, Mastering Your Mind.
This crucial point is beautifully captured in the old story of the 3 robbers in the forest. Imagine Tamas is a robber who literally wants to destroy you. Rajas is a second robber who just wants to tie you down to the world. Sattva, interestingly, is the good robber who frees you from the other 2. But here's the catch. Sattva is still a boundary. Goodness shows us the safe path out of the forest, but eventually we have to rise above even that to be truly, ultimately free.
Because as the texts tell us, ultimate peace and true excellence come when we rise above all 3 gunas. When you are no longer just violently tossed around by the highs of success and pleasure, or dragged down by the lows of failure and pain. That's when you have mastered the forces of nature. That is when you become the true driver of your chariot.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Your chariot is waiting right now. The horses are ready. So where will you steer it today? You absolutely have the tools to pull the reins, cultivate your sattva, and find crystal clear clarity in a totally chaotic world. Keep learning, keep exploring, and go take back control of your mind.